Yeah. All right. Number 10, Ali Burkholder says, I'm afraid our church is being unknowingly influenced by progressivism. For example, people love the podcast, The Bible for Normal People with Pete Enns. Should we be worried? How do I share my concerns? Ali, I'd be deeply concerned about that. And I've taken some heat for mentioning that Pete Enns and Greg Boyd are on the progressive spectrum. But I think they are. But that's also because I don't define progressive Christianity as apostasy. But it's open to apostasy. It's not orthodox either. It's just not about Jesus. And so you can have someone like, say, Greg Boyd, who I think has an orthodox view of Jesus and his resurrection. He's defended the resurrection of Christ. And I can say, hey, you're kind of in this progressive umbrella in the sense that what you're teaching about the Bible, it fits perfectly with progressive needs to reform and reimagine and reinvent how we look at Scripture. Basically, we have to come up with a way of disagreeing with lots of the Bible. And Pete Enns, Greg Boyd, these are two guys who do that. So Pete Enns, I also think I just think he's a really misleading source for people. I got his book, was listening to it, checking it out in my preparation for dealing with progressive Christianity stuff. And there's so many issues there. I would be deeply concerned with anybody who is learning to think about the Bible from Pete Enns. And what's interesting is the crowd, I imagine if you're a Pete Enns follower, that crowd is hearing me say this and they think, oh, Mike's scared of Pete Enns. I knew it. Mike's scared of him. Okay. Okay. No. So, I mean, in the sense that I'm scared for you, if you're thinking that he's giving you the real lowdown on Scripture to understand it well. I don't think so. I think there's all manner of confusion that's going on there, and it's misleading. So I would be very concerned. So what do? You said, how do I share my concerns? I think you have to give really specific examples. In my experience, people who like someone like Dr. Enns or, say, Greg Boyd, they love these guys. Like, keep that in mind. They love them. They feel indebted to them. They feel like they've helped them understand God better and reconcile tough issues. And in some ways, they're right. In some of the issues they've dealt with, Greg Boyd, Pete Enns have really helped them work through them and understand them better. But in some ways, they're wrong. But when you talk about Pete Enns, you're like, he's a problem. All they hear is it's like you're making fun of their mom. That's how this sounds. So this is why what you'll need to do is bring up exact quotes that very clearly show the problems that you're worried about. And then you don't overreact. You don't say everything they say is bad or wrong. You say, hey, they are teaching some things that I think are hurting people and aren't true about God and about the Bible. And so you have to get exact quotes, and you show the exact quotes. So your job would be then to listen to the podcast and pull audio and then play it for people and listen to the things and get the actual quotes. Because in my experience, if you don't share quotes, if you summarize their views, people who like them will think you're wrong, even though you're not, because they don't read everything these guys write. And they just know the stuff they've read they've really enjoyed, and they think, you're just making that up. So those are a couple things that I would consider. Hit them as softly as you can. Hey, for people who love these guys, say Pete Enns, as softly as you can. Hey, I think there are some concerns I'd like to bring to your attention. Is that okay? Instead of, he's a false teacher, right? You need to meet him where they're at. I don't want to discount the benefit he's brought into their life, but some of that benefit might be mixed with, I don't know, like some very unhelpful things. So there's my counsel for you.